Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to English Literature for Grade 8. I'm Sir Jared McFoy, and you're in for a treat. Today, we want to examine a poem. And like I always say, poetry is fun. Repeat after me. Poetry is fun. All right. And the poem that I'll be examining today, that we will be examining today, can be found in this book, Bite in Two, edited by Cecil Gray. Now, I don't know about you, but do you like books? I love books. And reading a book is one of the most powerful things that we can ever do with our life. So I encourage you, pick up a book today and get into some reading. You will be enlightened. So the poem that we'll be looking at is called On Killing a Tree by Jeev Patel. And he is from the beautiful country of India. So if you have a copy of this book, you can follow with me. I'm on page 34. Now the thing about reading poetry or anything in literature is that I always say don't read it one time. I always say read it at least 2 times, because with every reading, your understanding of the text deepens. All right? So I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy as we explore. And it reads, "It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which if unchecked will expand again to former size. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely. Out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. Then the matter of scorching and choking in the sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done." All right, so let's read it again. And as we read it this time, we're going to dissect this poem. We're going to try to take it line by line and really understand what the persona, that is the speaking voice in the poem, is saying to us. All right? So it takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. So right away we understand that the persona is saying, listen, when it comes to killing a tree, it is time consuming. So you can't just take a knife and say, oh, I'm going to stop this tree and it's going to die. It's not so easy. He goes on, it has grown slowly, consuming the earth. So as you know, with trees, they take time to grow. And as they grow, they take up space. Rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water. So it's saying here that the tree, we know when we plant a seed, we plant it in the earth, And then what happens? It begins to germinate outside of the earth and it begins to grow, take up space, as it says, absorb sunlight, air, water, because we know those are the necessary conditions for a plant to grow. It goes on to say, and out of its leprous height, sprouting leaves. So if you've ever witnessed germination, you'd notice that after the seed bursts forth, and you have this green figure coming up, if I'm to call it that, all right, the stem, and out from the stem, we have the leaf. So the leaf starts sprouting, and then it grows, and and this little seedling expands and grows, begins to take up space, all right? The persona goes on. So hack and chop. But this alone won't do it. So let's say we get a cutlass and we hack and we chop. That alone won't kill a tree. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal. Have you ever seen someone cut a tree? Not completely down, and then after a while, the part that they cut, leaves and so on, start growing out of it? Now that happens. So even, it's like when persons try to trim their plants. After a while, what happened? The plant continues to grow and it would grow out of the shape that it was trimmed into. It says, and from close to the ground will rise coral green twigs, miniature meaning very small, bars, which if unchecked will expand again to former size, like what I was just talking about. So if you just cut it halfway, cut a tree halfway, over time it will grow. And the thing is, it will even grow stronger and better than the last time. It goes on. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. So the person now goes on to say, listen, all of these things that people can try, they won't work. But let me tell you what will work. To kill a tree, you need to get to the root, and it needs to be pulled out of the earth that it is anchored in, that it is set in. All right? It is to be roped. So you get a rope tied around this tree. Tied and what? Pulled out. Snapped out or pulled out entirely. Have you ever seen someone kill a tree like that? They would cut it in half. And then the part that remains in the earth, they get a rope, a strong rope, and they tie it around the tree. All right? And when they tie it around the tree, they have more than one person because they need that force to what? And get it out of the earth. It goes on to say, out from the earth, cave. All right? And the strength of the tree exposed. It makes us wonder, what is the strength of the tree? The source, white and wet. The most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. That's the what? The root. Then the matter of scorching and choking in the sun and air. So when you get it out, you need the root to come out of the earth. Because once that root is still in there, that plant will continue to grow. Because that's the thing. Nature has the ability to regenerate itself, to replenish itself. All right? And then it says, in the sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering. And then it is done. What happens when you have a dead plant in the yard? You just leave it there. It will get brown. Because what? It is now stifled from what it needs to grow, and it's not connected to anything that gives it life. All right? So it's left there, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. And that is how you kill a tree. Now, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this reading of this poem. Please remember, as I always say, poetry is fun. So get a book, read a poem, or any piece of literature, and I can assure you, you'll be enlightened. Until we meet again, I'm Sir Jared, and I'm out.